Hi again. Perhaps you've noticed the fur on your moccasin likes to flip up, or you've noticed that the front of the fur here isn't quite as long as the back because it pulls up a bit. That might be because you cut your strip just a little too short, or it might just be a feature of how your pattern turned out. I can help you turn that into this, where everything matches, everything is flush, and it's nice and soft and luxurious all the way around. It's just a little alteration. Let's get started. Okay, I've got my two moccasins here, one that I'm about to do that alteration on and one that's got it already done. You can see how all the fur lies flat, whereas on this one, it kind of sticks up more vertically. Supplies I'm going to need include a utility cutter, a leather needle, size 3, threaded with leather thread, that's knotted at the end, and a few scraps of fur from when I made my moccasins. Now, if you bought your moccasins and you didn't make them, you can probably get scraps of fur without any problem. Go to my supplies video and that supplier will set you up. Okay, obviously this needs more space to come down. So we're going to make a few cuts in our fur. The first one is going to be at this corner. Important here is we don't want to cut our thread that holds our fur onto our moccasin. We just want to cut the hide of the fur. And we want to cut it perfectly perpendicular to the top of the fur. Remember, we never cut the hairs and we never use scissors on fur. We use a utility cutter so that the hairs stay intact and we only cut the hide. Great, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now that I've made those two cuts, I'm going to fold this back over again. I am making an effort to fold down as much fur as possible. So now you can see how much we're missing here in order for this fur to lie flat. Based on this measurement, I would say we need about 2 inches to fill in each side of this. But of course we don't need 2 inches up here. Up here it's just fine. So with our scrap of fabric, I am going to cut a triangle that is 2 inches at the bottom and nothing at the top. Okay, there's my first one. Remember, the fluffy side grain of the fur is the part that's going along the bottom. That's the part where we want the widest angle. Now I'm going to cut the little piece for the other side. Okay, I've got my 2 little triangles that I'm going to insert into my moccasin here. I'm going to place my fur with the fluffy sides together along that front edge of that new cut. We're going to start sewing from the bottom to the top. For this, I'm going to use a locking whip stitch. If that means nothing to you, check out my hand stitch videos and we'll get you on track in no time. Okay, I've got that one side done, and that's what it looks like now. I'm going to match it also to the other side of that cut, and I'll begin again at the bottom edge to sew those two together. Okay, there it is. You can see where that triangle of hide has been inserted in. I'm going to tie this off by making 3 stitches in the same place. And now if I fold it out, my seam disappears into the fluffies, but I have a nice curve all the way around the front. I am now going to do all those same steps to add a triangle of fur to this side. And when I turn it right side out, those seams simply disappear into the fur. That's all there is to it. Now we have 2 moccasins. The fur lies flat. They match one another, and that fur will never flip up or tear. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Your fur lies nice and flat. Make sure you hit subscribe because next time we'll be talking about what to do when your moccasins fit a little too big.